Good blessed Wednesday night, July the 7th, 2021. It's about 8:14 p.m. I'd like to greet all human beings all around the world with the universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. It doesn't matter what your political, philosophical, personal, nor your religious beliefs may be. It doesn't matter whether you're the richest or the poorest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter if you're the proclaimed toughest or the proclaimed weakest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter if you're my family, friends, nor my proclaimed enemy. It doesn't even matter whether you like me, my YouTube channel, or anything that I put on, anything on social internet. I greet you all with that same universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. Your color, your skin don't make me no different, whether you're young, old, big, or small. I greet all you all with that same universal greeting. Today I want to try to be real brief this time. 5 or 6 minutes if I can. It's hard sometimes when you a activist and not an actor. You have a lot of actors out there that should be on their way to Hollywood that proclaim to be activists. See, I didn't just start this year when my son was found hung March the 19th, 2021 in Carbondale, Illinois, on the 3rd floor of the 400 block of the apartments of the Gaslight Apartments in Carbondale, Illinois. I didn't just start this. I did it for other people, and surely I'm gonna do it for my son. First and foremost, I want to thank God for giving me the courage to just keep on going. After 100 and something days, when his name is not mentioned on no radio station, no news outlet, no newspaper, no talk shows, but it's on my YouTube, and I thank God for the people that's sincere, no matter what your nationality is, because I done seen black, white, and some people of other nationalities not only sharing my story, but speaking out. They said something is wrong. They see the same way I see. They see the same way my 3 daughters see. They see the same way my son's mother and her other children see. And my grandchildren see. And my family and friends see. There's no way that this was no suicide. It's too many things that's not right. But what I want to say also, I thank all of you all that's been supporting me. You see what I'm saying? Openly supporting me, and those of you all that's been privately texting me. You see what I'm saying? Because everybody don't want to put themselves out there. But I just can't. It's hard to give credit to any of these civil rights organizations. Because see, I went to Chicago and talked to some aldermen that not only did I grew up with in Cabrini Green, but me and them was in prison together in Southern Illinois. But now that they aldermen, they forget all about some people that God gonna ask them one day. You see what I'm saying? When I was in need, you wouldn't help him. You gonna ask him when, and he said, you done it to the least. My son, Brian, B-R-Y-A-N, Lamar, L-A-M-A-R, John, J-O-H-N-S. Brian was amongst the least. See, I got to keep it 100% real. He had a lot of things that's going against him with some people. And if the shoe fit, wear it. If it don't let it bother you. He had the fact that he was black. He had the fact that he was on drugs. He had the fact that he might have had some mental issues. Who don't? He had the fact that he was living in homeless shelters. You see what I'm saying? He had the fact that he was too gullible that trusting some of the Carbondale, Illinois Police Department and some of these individuals. You see what I'm saying? That been to prison and claiming that they working with these organizations that trying to help other individuals that been to the pen. You see what I'm saying? He was gullible to them. But you see, all that's coming to light now. You see, it done came to light because, you know, when this thing first started, you had these people that claimed that they were my son's friend. If you was my son's friend when he was alive, and you was my son's friend when I first started exposing what happened to him in Carbondale, you will still be his friend now. You see what I'm saying? There are people that was his friends before he died and after he died, and they still his friends because they stay in contact with him. But let me just say this here, y'all. If Ryan, my son, if he was a white male and found hung in them apartment buildings with the circumstances like it is with him, with my son, if this was a white guy found hung with his t-shirts found around the corner in another building, his mask found on in one corner, money balled up in his hand, and he in a rigor stage while he hung, and ain't no way that once you hung and you start, your heart and stuff stop breathing, stop beating. You see what I'm saying? Ain't no way you going right into a rigor stage. You can't. But if there was a white individual, even some whites said it too. If it was a white individual, 100 and some days wouldn't have passed by without this being in a newspaper or something said about it, and it wouldn't be talking about suicide, like Dr. Thomas William Thomas Kuffinger or Keffinger, or whatever his name is, put on my son's death certificate, suicide. You see what I'm saying? But the reason why I study bring it up is because I'm praying to God that one day a new breed of civil rights leaders, NAACP, Justice for All, they gonna start standing up and start just working secretly hand in hand with the police. And not saying all police is bad. But see, North Carolina showed a prime example when what happened to that black person down there in their area. You see, they didn't call the police because they knew the police already knew the police had something to do with it. And it's possible that in my son's case, I don't know, I wasn't there. But he got a voice. But they contacted the national chapter. Did you see what they did? They got out there and made themselves present. They didn't do no violence act. You see what I'm saying? This is a new generation of NAACP. People take titles. You see what I'm saying? They take titles, so when they put a resume in, oh, I was head of this here in the NAACP. I was head of this here in the Justice for All. I was head of this here in this program. But you ain't did a doggone thing for the people that's being treated unjust. It's like my son don't even have a voice when it comes to Justice for All, NAACP, the police, and Carbondale. It's like he don't have a voice at all. But let me tell y'all something now. Now, if I gave information to a beat sergeant who worked in hand with this investigative detective sergeant, I gave the information to the chief and I emailed it to the beat sergeant and talked to the beat sergeant, and he said, I'm gonna give some of this to the detective, but I'm not gonna give it all. I'm gonna look into this myself. So that go to show you they not working hand in hand with each other. But let me show you how the city, now if I'm wrong, the city can correct me, but you know, when I search up something and I feel there's some crookedness or corruption in it, I always, when I get the information, I screenshot it, because a lot of times they get rid of it. Like when I gave the detective, my daughter trusted in the detective that's investigating my son's death. We trusted him back in late March or early April. We trusted him and let him get my oldest daughter in Chicago's password and information on her Facebook to go on my son's Facebook page to get his videos, because we told him on one of them, or a couple of them, he was saying that he got into it with some people. And he kept calling out the name Joker. And this detective, after he got that information, he admitted to me he still ain't looked at all 14 of them. It's been over 100 and something days. But he go to both of the jokers. One of the jokers on my son's was on my son's Facebook page, had his real name, well, his name, and then in parentheses he had Joker. But after the detective went and talked to him, the detective helped him to get his name off of my son's page, as if it was never on there. Also took his name out of parentheses on his page. Now Joker is no longer in there. Then the second Joker that my son might have got into it with, but his first Joker, let me tell you, the detective said, well, he's a little bitty guy. I know him. He's a drug addict. Like drug addicts won't murder other drug addicts. You see what I'm saying? But let me tell you, he said that this Joker that took his name off my son's Facebook page, took Joker off his thing after the detective gave him information. You see what I'm saying? After the detective. You see what I'm saying? Who we trusting in to do this investigation. If I had to do it all over again, I would have let him do what he should have did at first as a professional, since he said he been on the force, he been doing it for 10 years and he went to school for it. Then get a warrant from Facebook like you should have did. But let me tell you, this detective gave him this information and told me that this guy is a little bitty guy. He's white. The guy's white. And the detective is white. And he gave, the guy gave my son a ride one time, and he never seen my son again. That was the only time he ever seen my son in his lifetime. You see what I'm saying? And the detective said, he asked him, well, how you get on his Facebook page? We ain't friends on Facebook, but it was evidence he was. So now he's off of there, as if he never been on there before. The other Joker that the detective went and searched down, another drug addict, another white guy where he mixed white and black. You see what I'm saying? A light-skinned Joker that's white and black. Be in the same area where my son was getting high, in the 900 block of Sycamore, where all the drug addicts, most of the drug dealers is at, where all the crime, people getting shot at. My son got shot in the foot in June of last year. A white guy got shot in the foot last year. And if anybody else got shot with a 22, you see what I'm saying? You know, let's try to match them bullets with the white guy that got shot with a 22, the 22 that they got out of my son's foot, and we might find a murderer down there in Carbondale, because the police ain't looking for him. And they wondering how I know it's a 22, because I do my own research. R, Raymond Research and Recovery. But let me tell you this here. Now, the detective talked to this guy. He said, oh, I talked to him. I've been doing this for a while. I know this guy ain't had nothing to do with it. He said him and your son got into an argument about a bike that your son supposedly stole, and they worked it out. That's what he said. You see what I'm saying? That's what he said. But the police was flagged down that same day, March the 8th, 2021, 11 days before my son was allegedly found hung, and my son was telling the police some people trying to do something to him. But look here, the detective said that Joker told the police that it's all straightened out. My son ain't telling the police it's straightened out, but the detective can't find these particular police. But he can hunt down a white female. I just said a white female had my son's wallet, and I was going up there to get it. But he can hunt down a white female in big old Carbondale. I think you got about 60,000 people. I could be wrong. But you hunted her down, and now all of a sudden the wallet is missing. So I know y'all got it. But let me tell you, this sergeant gonna tell me this Joker that my son got into it with, admitted he got into it with my son. That's what this sergeant told me. Called me on his cell phone, and I keep documentation. He said this Joker wants to meet with me, him, and the sergeant. I said, for what? Do he know something about what happened to my son? He said, no, he just wanted to talk to you about your son. What I need Joker to talk to me about my son for? You see what I'm saying? And what would the detective, a competent detective, what would he have me to meet with this guy, Joker, and him for? And it's nothing to do with my son's death. But that's what I told that detective. Let me show you how corrupted they is, and then how these organizations, these civil rights organizations, must work hand in hand with it. Listen to this real good. Because I already made a complaint to the NAACP. And it almost took me 30 days to get a confirmation email that said that they got my complaint. You see what I'm saying? And the only reason I got that because I gave it to somebody else that exposed the city, and I kept contacting the individuals and asking them, can I get a confirmation email saying that you received my complaint that I filed on May the 11th, 2021? You see what I'm saying? Can you give me the status of it? Took a month, but I finally got it. But normally organizations will get right back to you when you email something to them. But let me tell you this here. I told this here sergeant, I said, okay. I said, you and Joker want to meet with me? I said, let me tell you this here. Me, you, and Joker, and some of the people from the NAACP in Carbondale, we all will meet together. This is what the sergeant tell me, the investigating sergeant now. He tells me, I don't think Joker want to meet with the NAACP. He just wants to meet with me and you. How does that sound? What I'm going to meet with you for when you giving the other Joker information where he done removed his name off of my son's Facebook page, and not only that, he done removed Joker off his thing. But I got all of that information. Anytime I give y'all something, I keep it for myself too. But let me tell you this here. I kept calling him back, and I said, what did Joker say? He ain't had time to go ask Joker that. But he got a chance to try to hunt down this white female and give my son wallet. What you want the wallet for? You already done, you and Keffinger and y'all, all right now, you and y'all pathologists already talking about it's suicide. But you see, he ain't never got back with me. You know why? Because they thought that I was going to be gullible like my son. I would have met with the sergeant and with Joker, and I probably been hung like my son. But if I was, you can believe it would have been injuries on the Sarge and on Joker that they would have to be hospitalized trying to put something around my neck. See, I ain't on drugs. If you offer me something to drink, I won't drink it. I tell you to drink. You see what I'm saying? I don't smoke cigarettes. I can't be bought out. I'm not easily threatened. I'm not threatened at all. The only people I fear is God. But now tell me this here. Why you want me to meet with Joker? For what reason? If anybody out there that can tell me a reason why, give me a logical reason why, and then why they don't want to meet with the NAACP. And let me tell you this other thing that made me suspicious of the NAACP now. Because the sergeant on the 8th of June, when me and my two daughters was last up there and talked to him, he asked me which NAACP members did he want that I was going to have to meet with him and Joker. And I asked him, what difference do it make? He tell me, well, the chief knows some of them. That they already told me. Hell, I might well went to the Ku Klux Klan and filed a complaint with the Ku Klux Klan, telling them somebody hung my son. You want to know which NAACP. But let me tell you this here so I can end it, y'all. My son found hung, they allegedly said they found him hung, March the 19th, which was on a Friday, 2021. Now, on March the 24th, I Googled up something in the Jackson County circus court system. And I kept a copy in case they erased it. 2 warrants were sent out for my son on the 24th of March. Now my son found dead on March the 19th. What would 2 warrants? Now the city done found him. The beat sergeant done found him. The coroner was there. The coroner, which is for the county, and the beat sergeant is for the city. The city, get that car, boo-boo. Get it real good. This happens all the time, y'all. This happens all the time. Y'all see it? Get it again with you, boo-boo. Got it good? Yes, sir. What is that, a Charles, Missouri Police Department? Yes, sir. It seems like they got a GPS on my voice. They probably trying to see if I'm talking about them. But let me tell you this here. They got, look up, Google up JUDICI.com, and then put my son, when you put the search in for my son's name, put the last name first, JOHNS, put a little comma, a little space, and put his first two the letters in his first two letters in his first name, and put BR, and you'll come up with Brian John, Brian L. John, and Brian Lamont John. 2 warrants were sent out for him on the 24th. And then on one of them it says, what did it say? It say, unfortunately, he passed away. And I think this was on maybe the 26th, or even all the way up to May, they had court stuff going. Now, how is you gonna file 2 warrants on my son with the new prosecuting attorney, because his name in there too, which it said Chavez, whatever his name is, he dismissed it. Now, unless that's fake news, you see what I'm saying? One of them was failing to appear. How is he going to appear when he dead? A dead man can't appear. You see what I'm saying? And then the other one was a $15,000 warrant. The bond was $15,000. Listen, March the 24th. How many days was that after my son was allegedly found dead? 5 days. March the 24th is the same day I came up there, talked to this alleged coroner, which found out he was the deputy coroner, the commanding investigator, detective for the Carbondale Police Department, and then with the beat sergeant taking me, the beat sergeant in the corner, taking me on the scene at 400 Oakland Street where my son allegedly committed suicide. That was on the 24th. The same day that I was over there, they was putting a warrant out for him. But they got him in the funeral home in a body bag, zipped up. They knew where he was at. They was there when the ambulance came. The beat sergeant happened to be everywhere, my son, when he alive and dead. He got information that I gave him that some people might have been extorting my son. He said he gonna look at it himself. I still got that information. But let me just leave it right here, y'all. I'm asking y'all that's been supporting me in the Underground Railroad, and all of y'all have been supporting me openly. Let's not forget about my son. Let's be just like one of them thieves that was on the cross with Jesus. All right, now, what did he tell them, y'all? Remember me. I'm asking y'all to remember my son, Brian. You see, some people say, oh, he studied talking about it. You know, I'm going to keep on talking about it. If y'all know any newspapers or any radio stations or anybody else got any talk shows that were willing to let me come on there and tell my son's side of the story, y'all please let me know. And if any of y'all getting ready to start any type of march in Carbondale, Illinois, or any place else in Southern Illinois, you see what I'm saying? Let me know, especially if I can bring my son's name in it. I tried to contact other people that done had people, they family members that was mysteriously dead and caused suicide. You know, with me, God told me to focus on my son because ain't nobody else focusing on him. God didn't tell me to get a bumper sticker and start selling them. It's a guy in Carbondale, him and his wife, they wanted some t-shirts like I got with my son, me and my son on it, saying justice for my son. And they wanted to contribute to helping us find out what happened to my son, and they wanted to buy some. But when I get them made, I'm going to give them to them free. I can't afford to get a lot of them made and give them to people to give them to them free, but I'm not here to sell nothing. I'm not here to start a GoFund. We got my son buried. if it was up to the deputy coroner, he would have been cremated, and we wouldn't even went this far. But y'all just think about it. How many drug addicts that y'all know that commit suicide with money balled up in their hand and bags of drugs in their socks? Plural, bags of drugs in their socks. How many did y'all know? How many of y'all seen a perfect hanging, y'all? That a person hung themselves and the hand is balled up and it's in between two metal bars, and this part of the hand is way out here up on the landing, and the other one is kind of almost like gripping a little bit. Not all the way, but you can see somebody took it. Just like when my daddy died in my house, I was able to close his eyes. My son's eyes was open. His tongue was about this much out. It was the little tip of his tongue was out. I'm looking in his eyes, and his eyes showed me, Pop, I didn't do this here. Somebody else did it. And I believe it, y'all. I believe the Carbondale Police Department, the Jackson County Coroner's Office, and that pathologist, the female pathologist that they brought from Vienna, Illinois. I believe all of them got together and trying to make people to believe my son committed suicide. He didn't commit suicide, y'all. If he did, God wouldn't allow me to just keep on going like I am. You see, you got a circle of people that's saying it's suicide. But God forbid, if that was reversed, and if it was any of them that talking about it was suicide, if there was their son hung up there, in a 99.99% black neighborhood, they'd have been kicking down doors and taking names. You see what I'm saying? But they ain't looking for that. It's two females that the investigating detective ain't never went and talked to. They said they was there on the 11th when the beat sergeant and another police showed up, when my son was afraid to come out. And he was afraid to go with them, but he went with the ambulance. You see what I'm saying? Now, if my son wanted to commit suicide, he would have probably did it then. Or when this detective said they got a call one time and my son was on the second floor of a building, and the call was he defecated on the building. But yet, last year sometime he said he wanted to commit suicide by jumping off the second floor. You see how they drawing the picture? Why didn't he jump off the second floor then? Why would he how would he do a perfect hanging like that? What that was an unperfect stage suicide. If I have to do it by myself, I will. But I know some of y'all out there of all nationalities done heard my story, heard my son's side of the story, and I bet you my son's side of the story seemed more logical and reasonable than the far-fetched stories of the pathologist, the coroner, the deputy coroner, and the Carbondale police. Y'all gonna have to answer to a higher power. He's called God. I know y'all don't believe in him. And what I can't understand, where's all these preachers at? Where's all these churches at? Here it is, a father is hollering out for support and help. When I get on them corners, I'm on them corners by myself, or me and my two daughters. Where's everybody at? Oh, that's right. If I was an Arab, you see what I'm not an Arab, but if I was a Palestinian, if Israel gets to shooting at the Palestinians again, then the brothers gonna come out, protect the Palestinians, but won't even protect their own neighborhoods. They gonna march with the Palestinians, but they won't march to try to help a brother get justice. I'm going to leave that as I came, y'all, with a universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. The only time I'm going to stay silent when God tells me to stay silent. Those of y'all that don't like what I'm saying, you can do one or two things. Stop watching it. You see what I'm saying? Or get your own show. Because I ain't stopping. Peace be still.